Readers, has anyone ever tried to convince you to read a book by recommending it enthusiastically? Will you think about what makes you want to read a book when someone does that? How do they talk about the book that got you excited to read it? Here's how we're going to celebrate the ways you've grown as readers, the critical and intelligent interpretation you are doing, and these incredible novels. We're inviting you to take part in spoken word book slams, modeled after the work of spoken word slam poets and book reviewers. Your goal is to recommend this book to others and perhaps to post or write up your work so that those in power who get to decide if books are included in book lists or curricula can hear your words. Here's how it will work. You'll decide what book you want to rep as significant contemporary literature because of the difference it has made to your thinking and the potential you see in it to influence the lives of others. You'll have a few days to rehearse a 4-minute book slam presentation. In that book slam, you'll speak about your book, convincing others with your insight and passion to read it. You might talk about the characters or the themes or important issues that this story takes up. You might talk about how this story represents ideas and identities. You will share some part, perhaps reading or performing a moment from the story. And here's why you'll do this work. We can share your words with other students as well as with adults, such as teachers and the school board. You have the potential to advocate for books and for meaning literature, which all kids deserve. You know, it's always a wise idea to study the genre you plan to write, design, or perform. So let's watch some book talks. Note their special characteristics and how you can steal some of the techniques that would help you in your book slams. It seems like the question you want to be asking is, how do readers talk about books in compelling ways? To figure that out, it is worth watching how people talk about books in compelling ways. I'll give you one tip. Since you will be planning your own book talk, it would also be helpful to figure out some of the parts of a successful book talk. And it's always interesting to pay attention to language too, to how people speak. Let's watch the beginning of this book talk, which is called The Book Boys Unpack Refugee. The book boys review books often and post their reviews on the Scholastic website. Have your notebook out so you can jot any moves you notice these book talkers making. It might be helpful for you to lay out some post-its across your notebook page or even sketch out a number of boxes. And that way, each time the reviewer moves to a new part, you can add it to a storyboard of techniques. You may write personal anecdote to introduce the novel, or you may write retell part of the novel, like trailer, if you see them doing things like that. Go back to the lesson platform to watch this video. You'll watch the first 27 seconds of the Book Boys Unpack Refugee, and then come back to this teaching video. All right, readers, you watch the first 27 seconds. Go ahead and take a moment to jot. What parts did you notice so far? What have they accomplished? And how do they talk about the book? Okay, readers, it seems like this first part gives a kind of summary of the story, introducing the characters and some of the plot. They explain how the plot is structured, how it's about three different refugees in three different time periods and their heart wrenching stories. And you might have noticed that they kind of angle the summary so it's like a trailer. They talk about it in ways that get you interested. Okay, readers, now you're going to go back and watch the rest of the video from 2 minutes and 10 seconds through to 5 minutes and 30 seconds. If you need to pause the video to jot or think about anything that's happening, go ahead and do that. I'll give you one tip. Think about what they show as well as what they say. All right, readers, make sure that you have finished your jotting and what you noticed through that part of the video. Pause the video to finish that work and then come back to this teaching video when you're ready. The biggest observation was that these reviews pose a series of questions that place a spotlight on particular compelling aspects of the novel. What was the most memorable part? What is a possible theme? Some of you may have noticed or liked that the reviewers responded personally to the questions, utilizing their own identity lenses. Or some of you might have liked the focus on a particular character, and those experiences are what make you want to read the book. The way that they brought out details that showed how these are real stories about real kids. Or you might have thought that the mention of imagery or symbolism was forceful in endorsing a text, and that would be good for the world, a must read. You may have noticed that the reviewers included some visuals. That's an interesting possibility. You have done some stunning notebook work in this unit. Perhaps you want to include some visuals in your talk as well. Now we're going to look at another book talk about another mentor text. What's different about this talk is that it's just one person, and it's the author of the book. He makes some interesting moves in his talk, though, some of which I thought you might want to mirror. See what you think. Take a second to set up your notes. The title of the book is Overturned, and the author's name is Lamar Giles. Ready with a system for capturing notes? Let's watch how the author of the book, in this review, sells what he believes is a meaningful story. As you watch, think about your inquiry questions. What's compelling? And how do the parts flow? Go back to the lesson platform and watch the entire book talk of Overturned. Readers, did you notice how the opening is simple and dramatic? Lamar talks about the setting and the theme of the novel, and he does it in ways that make you want to find out more about this story. He tells us about Nikki and how she wants out of Vegas. I think I'm going to note that he speaks with drama. So, you may have liked how the reviewer explicitly named what kind of reader would most enjoy this book. He mentioned how it fits in a particular genre, thrilling mystery or romance. Or maybe you didn't like that part. You thought that it was a mistake to pigeonhole the type of reader who would most like this text. It's important that you're being critical and that you're noticing what you might want to try with your book talk. So I want you to watch that book talk one more time to see what other parts you notice and any other moves that the speaker makes. Go ahead and go back to the lesson platform and watch the book talk one more time. It's interesting, readers. Did you note that there's no set formula for talking about books? It seems like the main thing is to talk in ways that are both literary and personal. It does seem like you need to tell about the main character and the big issues that arise, and that you want to do these things in a way that don't give away the ending of the novel. And all the time, you're striving to create interest. In just a few days, you'll give your talk. You'll share any visuals that you want, use any props or music. You'll have 4 minutes to talk. You can use notes, but you can't simply read. This is spoken word. Most importantly, you'll rep your book as a contemporary classic, a book that matters to the world. It seems like the best use of your time now is to begin to choose which book you'll want to talk about, and then outline some of the parts of your talk that will become part of your book slam. Okay, readers, off you go.